why those listening should stay to the end and watch or listen to the entire episode.
Because I will actually tell you how you can look best or feel confidence wherever you are. The feeling confidence is about attracting the right opportunity for you. It could change your life.
With over 20 years in beauty and fashion, Jen Auh is an innovator in image consulting. As the founder of Style Konsult and stylist, she has dedicated her career to helping individuals and professionals enhance their image.
When you look good and then feel confident about yourself, your voice changes, you have more authority, and you feel good about yourself too.
Her expertise has made her a sought-after consultant, best-selling author, and speaker. Jen's mission is to help 1,000 image consultants transform 1 million lives by May 25, 2025.
Seeing is believing. You set your own standard.
Hey Jen, welcome to the Solopreneur Show. Jen, you just told me that you managed to travel to Italy for 5 weeks with just one carry-on suitcase. Is that even possible?
I know, it was even winter time. So I had one red coat, and I have a couple pants and tops and some accessories and scarves and that kind of stuff. But then I was thinking that, okay, because I really wanted to travel the world, and then I have so much stuff. I mean, I work in the retail for over 20 years, and you really accumulate a lot. But then I really wanted to travel, and then I was at the time that I just had enough. I have a lot of stuff, so that how I can actually let go and then really down to essentials. So one of the things that I try is if I could live without many stuff that I already have in my walk-in closet, and then what actually do I need to carry with me the essentials of traveling with one carry-on suitcase. So I literally picked the one that I really needed, like some basics and then accessories and then some beauty grooming stuff. And then I packed in my suitcase with my laptop, and then I went to Italy. So I went to like 5 cities. I went to Torino, Venice, Florence, and Rome, and Sicily. And then obviously north to south, and then it was a different weather in Italy. So Sicily actually was very warm during the New Year. But it was absolutely doable. I didn't buy anything new. But still, for me as an image consultant, I need to look good because I need to walk out the talk. So I always tell people that you need to lead by example. If you don't practice what you preach, that is not very true to yourself. So that I always tell people that do what you tell people do, so that you can actually set an example.
Exactly.
So my case, I always need to look good, no matter where I am, what I do. That's my main thing as a media consultant. So I brought a few things that I needed, and then it really worked. I look good. I even actually asked to be photographed in Venice. These photographers, I should have asked their information because they're like, can we take your picture? So they took a few pictures of me because they think that looked good. So that was kind of experience.
And yeah, speaking of looking good and skills, knowledge, and all that stuff, how should be the balance? Because I know how important image is and how you present yourself, especially in today's age where the way you look and the way you present yourself is so important in business. But how should be the balance? Like, how important is the looks and how important is the actual knowledge and what you deliver?
Actually, it's very simple because I know that there are so many products out there. The choice is overwhelming because you have a new product you see every day. There are thousands and 100,000 coming out. But once you figure out what works for you, I always stick to it. Because I have the same beauty routine for over 20 years. What I do same thing every day. I use the same product every day because that works for me. Of course, there's a few things I change by season. Like some kind of during the winter time, your face need to be more hydrating, or during the summertime, you need to be more mindful wearing the sunscreen because you sweat a lot. But then once you find a few things that works for you, I always need to stick to it. Um, I actually do have a better skin than when I was in 20s. I'm 47. So if you do something that works for you and then doing every day, you will see in 10 years. I always tell my clients that if you look good, the same, in 10 years, it's amazing, actually, because we're not getting younger.
Yeah, exactly. And
We're not younger.
that importance of routine, it's so powerful, because if you manage to find, as you mentioned, something that worked for you and continue to repeat that without changing, in theory, nothing will change. Of course, with the exception that we get old. But and going back a bit to my question, like comparing to the knowledge and the things that you deliver, how should balance, like, because especially nowadays and since the pandemic, a lot of people don't take care of themselves like they used to be, because they don't have to go to work, they don't have to go uh I don't know, at face-to-face meetings, and they just, I don't know, they're in their shorts and put a suit on and they present themselves in meetings. So going back to that, like in terms of confidence, how important is the way you look with the way you present yourself in a meeting or in a sales call and so on?
Because I always tell people that seeing is believing. When you look good, and then you can look yourself in a mirror, and then you look good, your confidence boosts. You don't have to like somebody, because you already know yourself that you're looking good. And it really boosts your confidence that, like, oh yeah, I'm look good today. And then you also, when you look good and then feel confident about yourself, your voice change because you have more authority, because you're confident about you say, and then you feel good about yourself too. So you're more open to ideas, you're more acceptable, because you also have this positivity around you, because hey, you look good, feel good, what else can go wrong? Because that's as simple as that. That's what I always tell people, that look is always the most important thing. Even though I know that inner beauty is important. I'm not saying it's not important. Inner beauty is important. But if you don't have chance to show your inner beauty, which is your appearance, it's the same as a book. People saying that don't judge a book by its cover, but we do judge. We do. If we don't like the cover, we don't even grab the book and read the context inside.
Exactly.
So if you want to, so I'm saying that, okay, inner beauty important. That's true, you, but your look, your appearance is actually get the opportunity to show who you truly are. So it's very important that have your image, have your style, have your appearance ready for every time that you put yourself out there, even just online. Because we still see each other and we make this a first impression. If you feel like, this person's first impression is not great, but you tend to kind of withdraw from the interaction. You're not very engaging because you didn't have that first impression that you want to get to know the person, even online, more so in person.
Exactly. And I want to touch on that because online, it's so hard to be seen as you truly are. And even like on camera, like normally we see the other person from like waist up or something. So you're not able to, I don't know, stand tall in front of someone or literally like shake their hand and all those physical activities that you normally do. So if someone listening is thinking like, how do you really behave myself on camera when I am on a meeting on Zoom or whatever, in a way that I feel confident, I express confidence to the other person, I seem friendly, and all that stuff. How do you make it happen on camera?
It just always start with you. If you feel good about yourself, you actually sitting taller, you smile more, and then you really showing your confidence. I think that where your confidence, it really doesn't matter where you are sitting or where you are. If you could be anywhere, but then present yourself actually to you. You actually need to do you. So true to yourself, and then you really believe in yourself. So even though, let's say that you don't see below waist because we're usually sitting down when we have a meeting online, but thinking about you fully dressed really well and then showing yourself to camera, or you only half dressed. Because you have that feeling that you're not fully dressed, you're not fully confident, and then you will be more subconsciously that you're not ready. But if you are really true to yourself, you're ready, this is the best you can show to the world. If this is the one moment that you have, why don't you put your best yourself? And then once you do that, you feel really confident about yourself, and then you will stand out. Sometimes we have this conference meeting, not one-on-one. We have this group chat, not one-on-one. But you thinking about it, you notice somebody from that many different window because that person is confident about themselves. They stand out. So because they're sitting more straight, you can tell they have groomed really well. They have their hair done. Maybe they have some makeup done. They really take care of themselves. You always start from you.
That's powerful. And in the same time, I want to challenge this because this sounds so easy. But I know that a lot of people, especially online, they struggle with imposter syndrome. And especially when it comes to their professional image or to put themselves out there to build a personal brand and so on. How do you make it all this into a practical advice for those listening in order to overcome that imposter syndrome and start building that confidence over time in order to build that personal brand and a strong professional image that can actually showcase who they truly are inside?
So what you do every day counts. Because when you do every day, it becomes your habit. So you don't thinking about it, you just do it. So every day you do little things like you get up in the morning, get ready, put your best clothes every day. Then when it comes to part of your daily routine, it becomes your habit. You just do it because it becomes the norm. I always tell people that you set your own standard. If you're okay with half dress, that's your standard, but you'll have confidence.
Exactly.
If you want to be fully confident, embrace yourself, you gotta do the work. You need to do every day so it becomes your habit, becomes your daily routine. It's like nobody tell you that you have to go brush your teeth when you wake up in the morning, right? But you do it without thinking twice because that's your habit.
Exactly.
Same thing, feeling confidence. If you do, put your best outfit and then groom well every day and then do your part, then you'll be doing this every day without thinking twice. Then that becomes you. You don't have to pretend to be somebody because you're already doing it. Because that's you, so you are showing, this is me. I'm doing it. I'm putting my best version out there because this is me.
Yes, that's the thing indeed, because over time, if you do these small actions every single day, you build those habits without thinking like, oh, I'm not in the mood today to, I don't know, put a nice dress or put a nice shirt on me and so on, then who else will do it for you? if you don't take that action. And that's the thing, like as with anything in life and in business, if you build over time those small habits and we stay consistent over time, you'll achieve that confidence and you'll overcome those imposter syndrome and so on. And speaking of that, I know that you work with major brands and countless individuals. What's the biggest misconception when it comes to image consulting?
There are some people thinking that image consulting is only for like a public figure, or they who have to be face of the brand or face of the company. But image consulting is actually for everyone, because everyone has a right to live a full potential, and then they should be confident about themselves too. So I tell people that image consulting is like you visiting doctor for your physical checkup, because this is the ongoing process. Because if you're going to get a physical checkup because you want to make sure that you're actually doing right, you feel healthy. So when you go into the image consulting, it's not just a one time that you do it and then you just go for life. That's not how it works, because your image actually change involved, just like your health. What you do every day, it impact your health. So your doctor tells you that this is what you need to do. The image consultant will tell you this is what you need to do. Maintain your image, maintain your style, maintain your confidence. So this is actually ongoing process you have to do consistently.
Yeah, that's the thing, like, because often we look, I don't know, at celebrities, at TV, or at other entrepreneurs that we admire, and we're thinking about ourselves, how many makeup hours they get before showing themselves on camera, or all of those stuff. And we think like, we will never be like them and stuff like that, because they are celebrities, they are sought after thought leaders and so on. But in reality, like we well mentioned, everyone can take care of themselves, show themselves in a professional way or in a friendly way without, I don't know, a huge team behind them and so on. Just those small things that you do every day counts. And speaking of that, speaking of routine, speaking of small things that we can do in order to improve our image, can you walk us to a routine that you or your clients have in a day in order to be ready for a meeting, either that is a physical meeting or an online meeting, or simply be confident in the self to achieve what they want in that particular day? What would be the essential steps they should take in a day to build that routine and confidence?
So start small. So you build your routine that it works for you. You don't have to be. You need to walk first before you run. So take a small steps. So once you're confident about those small steps, you go into the next level and then your next level. So I always tell people that start with the basics. So if we want to look good, the first thing that you need to do is wash your face twice a day. You feel like this is so little, but trust me, wash your face twice a day, it's actually huge effort. Because some people do not do that. So when you get up in the morning, wash your face. And then before you go to bed, take a shower and wash your face. That's the first thing. That's the first thing you need to do. And then once you get into the routine, now it's a part of your habit. Then you use the right product for your skin and your body. You take care of your skin. Because start with this, you take care of your skin, then you go for your wardrobe. Wearing the right wardrobe that make you look more attractive. Once you feel like you're more attractive, it boosts your confidence. Once you feel confident, you attract more opportunity. Those opportunities will help you to achieve your goals. So I need to be very clear about like where you need to actually start. Before you run, you gotta walk. You're gonna take the first step as a baby. You are going to build a personal routine that works for you, that it will be easily integrated in your daily basis. Then you are going to keep doing that, building your habit. then you will be extended to your wardrobe so that you feel like you feel very comfortable with in your skin. So something that you really feel like, okay, this is me. I'm very comfortable wearing this. So that's how you're gonna build it. Then you stick to it. I always tell people that, okay, what if we do this? What if you do that? Well, the reason that you have an image consultant, because they know exactly what works for you. Great, we're going to experimenting this and that. However, if you want to get the result that really works for you, and these are the steps. So we actually shorten the steps as an image consultant so you get the result faster.
And speaking of results and this comparison that is so toxic that we see online, like comparing ourselves with others. And as you know, like the fashion and beauty industry face criticism because of promoting unrealistic standards. And how do you how do we navigate this ethical landscape? Because at the end of the day, the way we present ourselves and how we look, it's important, but without going on the other side and exaggerate and try to emulate someone else. How do we stay true to ourselves without going overboard? Like, what's the limit? If
So you need to focus on what you can control. Because I always say that start with the look, because that perception is reality. Like you said, what you see out there feels like that's real. So you can actually control the narrative with your look, how people perceive you. So focus on what you can control. You can control your look. You can control how you feel about yourself, and you can control your confidence. Put your best clothes. That I always say that, like put your look first. When you feel good, you feel confidence, but everything else is out of your control. So I need you to focus what you can control, which is how you look, what you wear, how you're gonna take care of yourself, and then focus on yourself. You prototype yourself, because that's where you can actually see the result.
yeah, true. And because another thing that we can do, simply don't join social media platforms that are focusing strictly on looks, because then we'll just scroll and scroll and scroll and compare ourselves, and then that control is getting out of hands and we are not able to control it. So that is something that will add to that, because otherwise it's just so easy to compare ourselves with others and the way they look, the way they dress, the way they act, and so on. And even that we can get inspired, it's always important to stay true to our values and not overdo it, and so on. And when it comes to consulting, I know that it's such a broad topic and something that a lot of people are like, what's the moment in which I need to hire a consultant to help me with this? Like, what will be, for example, a sign that someone should just search for your name and start interacting with you and start working with you?
So it's actually self-awareness, because you know yourself the best. So you will see that you try many things, because my clients, they already try many things. They have a personal shoppers and all that, but none worked, because the way image consulting actually started, my first question when clients comes to me, I ask why they are here. I need to understand why they want to find while working with me, what they're actually looking for, why it's important for them. So once we figure out why, how to get there is just so many different ways to do it. But that why is your North Star. Once we know why, then we'll figure out how and what we are going to do, reach that North Star.
Indeed. And that path to that North Star, um, how long usually takes? Because let's say I can act as your ideal client and I want to improve my image. I want to look better and at the same time feel more confident and so on in the way I show up. How long it usually takes to build those habits, find that path to the North Star and start seeing results?
Well, the make you look good actually it's almost instant. It's everyone's different, so that's how I provide a really holistic, tailored solutions for each individual. But then the one thing that you get out of each session, because each session I already make a complete. So either they can continue themselves or they can come back to continue work with me. But I laid out a plan for them. Because obviously you're not going to achieve your goal overnight. I will be lying if I said, oh, you're going to be great tomorrow. That's a lie. So I make it very clear that steps they need to take. I give it a plan so they can work with me in reaching that goal, or they can take the plan and they work themselves. So it's very different. But the one thing that I always make sure that the first session that we work with, they know clearly what they need to do next. So you have the game plan. So it's not like, oh, it's not like okay, then what I need to do next. No, you leave that with the game plan.
Yeah, and the plan is very important because without a strategy, without a clear path, it's so hard to arrive at the destination. You'll get lost, you'll get questions all the way, and you'll be like, what I'm doing here, I don't see any results, I don't see traction or progress, and that's a big problem when you don't have a plan. But laying down the plan like that and put it at their disposal is so easy to actually follow through. And speaking of plans, I know that you want to start traveling full time with just a suitcase again. And I'm still wondering, like, especially in your industry and so on, and how do you plan to do so?
So because I tried for the 5 weeks when I was doing the Italy. So I'm going to actually apply the same concept. I'm in the process of downsizing my belongings. So obviously, like I'm not going to carry all my books, but that goes to storage. I don't have to carry that all the time. But then I will be carrying the essentials, something I need. Like also as a media consultant, I need to look good all the time. So I'm going to really maximizing my wardrobe, but still look good and look fresh in every day. One of the things that I'll be doing, because I really want to start traveling next year. So I have my due date of leaving in January. So I'm going to document this, how actually you're going to look great in a one suitcase as a media consultant, than living the nomad life until you find a place to settle.
That sounds like an exciting journey and kind of reminds me a bit of how I started 5 years ago when I literally sold or donate most of my belongings. Some of them I just deposit them to my parents, and but I wasn't able to left with just a suitcase. I had like a big suitcase, like and a big backpack. So I'm still struggling to narrow down. And speaking of essentials, in reality, I know that most of the things that I carry with me, I don't use them. But in the same time, speaking of technology and stuff, like I carry with me a tripod for the podcast, I carry with me the camera. I'm a photographer, a passionate photographer. And yeah, it's like small things that pile up because usually like clothing, like I usually buy in the destination that I arrived. Uh, and if you can give me and those listening that are also nomads and they are still struggling to narrow down what will be essentials for you, and maybe you can get inspired from that.
Okay, so one of the things, because you already said that actually, you said that most of the things that you don't use.
Yes, true.
Okay, those are things out. You'll be very surprised that when you actually put those piles in a one group that you don't use, And then you will be surprised that you don't even thinking about it anymore. You will be forget that it's not there anymore, actually. So today, I need to go back to your suitcase, take out the stuff that you didn't use it for 30 days. Then put that aside and then put it in the different bag. You'll be surprised that you never touch that bag for another 30 days.
Yeah.
Then you know that you need to let go of that. You need to either donate, you need to either sell it. Because you know that if you didn't touch for the last 30 days, and then you didn't touch that for the next 30 days, there's actually a chance that you're going to touch that for another year.
Indeed, that's the thing, right? And in the same time, like, I know I'm making excuses in my head, like, but I have my fins because I love to snorkel and free dive. I have my, I don't know, googles. I have my, I don't know, rain jacket. I have my hiking boots. I have that and that and that. And in theory, I all use them at least once a month. In theory, in practice, like, I never, for example, rent hiking boots because I feel like they are too personal, you know, and hygiene as well. But for example, I can rent fins for snorkel. I can rent googles. Even googles, I probably won't rent either because you put it on the face. But yeah, definitely, I will do an exercise after our recording and go and see what exactly I can do in order to not carry all that stuff with me. And
Little put in a separate bag. Then you know that you're not touching the bag. Like physically, you will be distanced from it. So do not mix it the stuff that you are using all the time. Then that kind of give you illusion because you see it every day, because you get to mix with the things that you use every day. You feel like you need it someday. But when you actually don't see, that's why the seeing is believing is very important for every aspect. If you don't see the stuff and then you don't miss it, you don't need it.
yeah, true. And now I'm thinking, like, you managed to go to Italy for 5 weeks, and you, even as an image consultant, you were able to live and travel and as well work without a problem. So definitely it's possible. Now,
100%. 100%.
and I'll definitely try to see that, to put into practice that exercise that you mentioned with the suitcase. And in the same time, of course, I kind of know these answers, but for those listening, how do you plan to work in the same time as traveling? Because a lot of aspiring nomads are listening to us right now. And some people still think it's kind of impossible to either be productive or still grow rather than stagnate while traveling. So, how do you plan to do that to make sure that you're not missing out?
So routine is very important. I maintain same routine. Also, the way I work is that how I can be more productive the most of the day. So I do most of work in the morning. Then it will free my time the stuff that I want to do, or I chose to explore a little bit more in the afternoon. So for people who travel a lot, because I used to travel every year, now I'm going to travel more next year constantly, is that you need to have your routine. There's just some essential stuff that you need to do. If you figure out those essentials to carry on your business, then you're good. I literally have things that I do every day. I know that if I take care of those things, I'm good. Sometimes it takes me half an hour. Sometimes it takes me maybe 2 hours. But as long as I get those essential done, and they usually take less than 2 hours a day, but sometimes it only takes me half an hour, then I'm free for the rest of the day. But my business still grows. So that's what you need to figure out. What are the essentials that you need to do to carry on? If it's more than few hours, then you really need to streamline your business. Because I have several businesses, but then how you streamline your business that make it work for you, you not work for your business. Business needs to work for you. So streamline it. simple is better. I know that simple is hard. That's what it makes it so valuable. Figure that out, how you can actually simplify the process so that you know the essential to carry on.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? When it comes to business, because often we see entrepreneurship as something like, oh, I want to become an entrepreneur, but we end up there and we realize that we just hire ourselves for probably higher paying job, but a job that you are 24/7 active. And I'd like to ask you, how did you streamline your business in order to be able to not be trapped inside it and focus only on the things that are important to move the business forward? Do you hire others? Do you have a team? Do you have contractors? How do you approach it?
So I do mostly myself. I learned that because I actually had a 15 people team before I streamed down. But then I realized that I was spending more time managing those 15 people than actually doing the work. I'm like, oh my God, I left the corporate because I used to work for the corporate and I spend most of my time managing my team. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing the same thing as I was working for the corporate. And then even this is my own business. So I had to work it out. So I actually let those people go. Then I streamlined to the things that I could manage and with the help. Obviously, I don't have like a technical background. So I have like a developed team that's separate. But besides that, I focused on my clients. I focused on how I can actually grow the marketing and sales. I do that myself as a founder. Then I really down to focus on my clients to succeed. So when they succeed, that I succeed too. So that's where my time goes now.
Yeah, indeed, because at the end of the day, if we don't focus on our clients, it's it's not worth it because you don't have a business. You just, I don't know, trying to run it by being trapped inside a business rather than serving others. And serving others is the first step that you should do as a business owner in order to succeed. And speaking of that, roughly, do you, because you mentioned like sometimes you work and you finish your task like in 30 minutes a day, sometimes 2 hours a day, and so on. Roughly, how many calls do you have in a week? And how do you plan to manage those when you start traveling and being on different time zones and so on? To kind of paint a picture for those listening, like how they can do the same if they want to follow your path.
So I have a one call a week. So I have this weekly call with my clients. If they need a call, mostly they don't need a call because we do mostly email. And then I also don't take any calls on a Monday and a Friday. So I focus on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and the Wednesday is my client time. So that's the Wednesday I have a call once a week. And Tuesday and Thursday, I mostly teaching because I also teach other university here in New York online. So Tuesday, Thursday is the teaching, and then Wednesday is the client call, and then that's mostly 3 days a week.
That's nice. That sounds like a dream. And speaking of that call, I assume it's a group call since you have only one call, right?
It could be group call, and then it could be also one-on-one call too, because I have a different kind of clients, but they each all fall into Wednesday. But most of the time, sometimes I have a no call on a Wednesday too because nobody booked it.
Yeah, I see. And I think that flexibility and that also restriction from your end to put specific days for specific activities is something that I notice that a lot of people don't do. They just leave their calendar open in whatever day of the week. Anyone can book calls with them and so on. And only one call a day can distract you from achieving what you want to do because sometimes you just think about it like, oh, I have a meeting today, I have a call today, and so on. It happens to me as well, especially with the podcast, because even that I enjoy so much these conversations, knowing that I have a podcast in that day is kind of a bit distracting me from the business. But it's a sacrifice that I want to do because I enjoy it, and as well I see the benefits of it. But speaking of that, like, what's a non-negotiable for you? Because we all know that saying no is so important when it comes to running a business and living a fulfilling life. What's a big no for you when it comes to either clients or business in general?
You need to actually really believe in, practice what you believe. If could I tell my clients the same, streamline your meeting because they own like running their own business and they have like so many meetings. So I asked them that, do you willing to be there? It is something that you can delegate because you actually are in control of how you want to spend your time. We feel like we need to be all these different things. That's how we feel. That's how we think. But others might not see the same. So I used to have at least 5-6 meetings every week with my team when I had a 15 people team. Because we had the operation meeting, we had a creative meeting, we had a marketing meeting, we have an HR meeting and all of that. So I spent most of the time in these meetings managing people, and I was really struggling taking care and do the stuff for my clients. So that kind of put me in a place that, oh, this is not how it should work. So for you is that you are the one who negotiated. Is it actually yourself? Is it really for you? Is it really going to make or break your business, or is it how you really want to live? Because your entrepreneurship, how you live your life, it's your choice. You need to choose actually. So these days, my default is no. And then I think about no, and then I think about why I said no for this. Do I need to change it to yes? So I always put myself in no first, then think about the reason that why I need to say yes.
Yeah, it's important mindset shift because if you start with everything should be a no, if it's not really, really important or a heck yeah or something, then yeah. And if you start from that perspective, that anything that come our way might be just an disguised opportunity, might be just a disguised distraction in an opportunity. And we see it, oh, I will say no to this, it's an opportunity and so on. But at the end of the day, it's just a distraction in disguise. And that's why taking a break from any decision that you make and think that through and really, really think through, it's a it's truly a notice, or I should consider to say yes to it. And putting all that in the balance and then decide, it's much more easier than just saying yes from the beginning and end up in a situation that your calendar is fully booked or your calendar is full of commitments. That's not going to work for you or for your business. And speaking of business, if someone listening to us want to get in touch with you to start working with you, where they can find you?
They can find me on my company website, styleconsult.com, and they will see the services that we have, and then also check out our wonderful client testimonials so they can see that how we work together.
Awesome. And I will put the links in the show notes as well for those listening. And I would like to conclude with an actionable advice for those listening. Since, in my opinion, everyone should, like you said as well, take care of themselves, improve their image, their confidence, and believe. What they should do in less than 1 week to start this process?
Start today. You need to actually thinking about, because every time that you're not making the impression that you want to record, you're actually missing the opportunity. Every time that you yourself out there, especially you are traveling, you are in these wonderful, exciting places. There are so many people that they're passing by. What you want to be is that somebody stop, turn around and then look at yourself for one more time. So you want to be somebody, people turn around and look at you one more time. So make that impression. It doesn't, even though you are traveling, it doesn't mean that you need to look like travelers. So there's a typical image being travelers. However, you can always look good and look fashionable, stylish, attractive. So I need to actually start today. Pick out the outfit that you actually save for party. Pick out the outfit that you're save for the special occasions as travelers. Put that outfit every day because today is the day you are going to celebrate your freedom, being nomad, and then attracting the right opportunity while you are really enjoying your freedom.
That's beautiful, and especially because it reminds me of my starting of the nomad journey when I was literally dressing up like, I would say, almost like a homeless. Like I was like putting a hoodie, like covering my head, like, and especially in the planes or in the airports, like in a sweatpants and sports shoes, just to be comfortable. And yeah, I didn't truly believe in myself in those moments, like, and it couldn't wait to arrive at the destination to like get rid of those clothes and so on. But in the same time, I have a problem when it comes to especially traveling in Asia, where the air conditioning in airplanes is so cold. Like, and I'm like, how do I dress? And maybe this is another challenge for you this time to tell us how to dress on a plane to still feel confident in ourselves, feel comfortable, and not freeze because the air conditioning is so cold.
Okay, first of all, the one thing that I didn't pack while I was traveling, Italy for 5 weeks, I didn't have any sweat. Do not, do not pack your sweat. Okay, now everyone listening this podcast, it is time to get rid of your sweat. So when the time that you need to be really comfortable is when you sleep. So have a pajamas. It's very important to have a proper wear for each occasion. When you sleep, do not wear sweats. You need to wear pajama, the proper nightwear. When you are out, you need to actually wear the right clothes being out, which is the best clothes you have. So when you travel in the airport, the first thing is that if you want to make an impression that everyone remember in the airplane, what would you wear? So, and then because the air conditioning is really hard in an airplane, one thing that you want to do is the layered. You want to layer because great thing about layering is that you will be also light in your suitcase because you are wearing the clothes that you might need for the later time. So where do the layer also for traveling is that instead of bring that heavy stuff, you want to actually bring the many lighter stuff. So you can actually layer them as you go to the cold weather, or you shade it off if you go to like a warmer weather. So don't pack any thick sweaters. Do not wear them in airplane too, because no matter where you are, actually those are not very comfortable, the heavy stuff, because it weighs you. So when you go to airplane, wear layers. Then you can actually control how many layers you want to have, and you can also take it off. Also, those are light stuff. It's very easy to repack to your suitcase.
Exactly. That's a nice hack, and man, after 5 years of traveling, I never thought about that.
So
That's funny.
I never bring sweat. I don't even have a sweat. So please just thinking about your suitcase should be categorized by the occasions, by the activities. For instance, like you sleep, your activity is sleeping, then you should be wearing nightwear. When you go out, you're meeting people, that's your activity, so you should look good. And if you actually go to workout gym, then that's where you're going to be active wear, not sweat sweatpants or sweaters. So if you're actually thinking about it, those sweat, it doesn't fit in any of the categories.
Exactly.
That sweatshirt, sweatpants, it's just something that maybe it could be loungewear. But why would you need a loungewear? You're traveling. You're not hanging out around. You'll be actually doing something. You have a different activity that you'll be doing. So I need to thinking about sweatpants or sweat as your loungewear. Those are things that you could have it if you be staying a place indoor for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. And these are super nice to know things, because at the end of the day, we don't have to carry all that stuff if we can layer things and we just have like only the important things for specific occasions that we have. And thank you so much for sharing that. Hope those listening put this action tips in the put these tips in the action and start applying, because at the end of the day, we just accumulate information and we don't apply, won't work for us. Thank you so much, Jen, for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me today. It was a pleasure.